All right, so in this episode, this will be our overall goal to achieve a created site model based on contour data in our survey import, as well as a simple boundary outline. This might seem pretty easy to do, and it is actually quite easy to do, but it is very important to get this right so that we can start using this as our base plan, along with the architectural plan, to actually create the landscape design around it. So be sure to either follow along with the checkpoint files, which you can gather at the Patreon with the link below. You can download this file as the end state, as well as the episode 3 start state file, and you're able to work through it with me. So be sure to jump onto Patreon and grab those completely free. There's also resources and whatnot in there also. So from here, what we're going to do is we can turn off the import house plan layout. We can turn off the building roof layout, change the visibilities to all that, change from existing residence to site model, and we'll turn on the survey import, and we'll leave the import site plan off. We didn't really need the import site plan, to be fair, because the survey actually has the boundaries there. So we'll just keep the survey import on and the be selected into the site model layer. I will press 0. So now we're looking at it top down. So what we'll do from here is turn the site model into visible and then go to site boundary. We'll select that and make that also visible. So the first thing we're going to do is make the site boundary. Now, there's two ways we can do that. There's an actual property line tool that if you're a landscape architect and you're making like a whole subdivision lot and you're modeling, a whole subdivision of all these different houses, this tool can be quite powerful. It can be even good just for a residential build, but it does have a lot more complexity to it. And if you're just starting out or you want a simple landscape design of a single residential property, I actually find it easier to just use the polyline tool and then just draw your boundary onto the site PDF. So you can see here, this is meant to be 12 meters, but it's 12 meters and 4 millimeters. So what I'll do is I'll have this selected, have this line drawn, go tab, and then just type out my 12 meters. That 4 mil is like a margin of error. It's absolutely tiny, but we'll just draw it out properly. So we go 12 meters, click. It is 32 across, so that's correct. We'll click. We're at 11 something weird at the moment here. So we'll go tab 12, 1, 2, 3. So that's 12 meters there, enter, and click at 90. And then we'll come back and join at 32. So now we've got this boundary. We're going to change the class of this. So we'll go class, site, boundary, major. So I've already made this class I'll turn this survey import off. I've already made this class to have this sort of dark outline. So we've got this as our boundary so far. The next thing we need, if we go back to our layers, we turn on our survey import. We need these boundary text boxes. So we just go text tool, just click, go BDY. This is what I normally do, BDY for boundary, and then a dash. This is 3200. Escape. So we've got our, didn't mean to make that other one. So if we click escape, we've got our boundary text box. We're going to change the class to site boundary dimensions. And now we've got this dimension correct. I'll literally slap it right over the top of what we had originally. Then if you want to go to the mirror tool, this one here, mirror, make sure it's on duplicate mode. So this will make a copy. If you only have this standard mode selected, it will just move your original object, but duplicate mode will make a copy. Click in the center, and then we drag to the axis that we want it to mirror. You can see if I was to do it any other way, to mirror it in different directions. See, it's sort of showing you where it would mirror to around there. We want it to be right down. Click. Now we got 2. If you hold control, you got the little plus sign above the selection. I'm now dragging a copy. So I drag a copy over here, got this set up here. If you go control and L, then it'll just rotate it, or you can use the rotate tool to rotate. And we'll place this one down here. Now we got this boundary. Make sure we change this to 12, 1, 2, 3, 12 meters. Grab our mirror tool again, click, drag, there it is. Pretty straightforward. So we can turn that survey off for now, and we can see that on our site boundary layer, we've got a pretty reasonable site boundary that we're then able to turn on and off. Say if we're back to having, I don't know, the existing residence on. If we turn site boundary on, we can turn it on and off just from this one layer, which is good flexibility later on in the design. So it helps to have it on its own layer here. We'll turn existing residence off. We'll select site model. I might leave the site boundary on for now, and I'll turn our survey import on as well. So we've got the site boundary done now. The next thing we need to do is use this contour data to make our site model. So this can seem really confusing, but it's actually really simple. And I think this is the fastest way to do it. So a lot of the time, the contours, when you bring them in off a PDF, it can be really annoying because you have to draw each one. So these are really simple contours. They're just straight lines. A lot of the time, obviously, they're all curvy and going everywhere, and you will need to draw curved lines for each one. But what we're going to do is just draw each of our contours. So we've got one, doesn't matter at all how you draw them. Just draw them up as you've got them. Two, just draw them. I like to draw them in line to the edge of this page. So even though the text is there, make sure you go to the edge of the page there. Start at this far side where the line touches the edge of the page, or the edge of the survey import little viewport that it's got there. So go there, click, start at the top here. So these are all just standard polylines. So all you're doing is just drawing lines. So if we turn the survey import off, we can see that these are all of our polylines, and they're on their own class. On their own layer, which is the site model layer. So if you press Control A, you can select all of them. So we have all these polylines selected, which is great. What we want to do is convert them from polylines into 3D polylines. The way you can do it, there's a few ways you can do it. I think can't right click. I think it might just be modify, and then we go convert, and then it's convert to 3D polygons. I normally use the shortcut Control Alt and O, just because it's a lot faster, but it's easy enough to just go up here to modify, convert, and then convert to 3D polys. Boom. So it will group them. So it's grouped them all together. We don't want them grouped. So if you go Control U, you can ungroup them. Or I think if you right click and then go, thought there was an ungroup here somewhere. Ungroup, there it is. Ungroup or Control U. So these are 3D polygons at this point. These can be given Z, like height data. Like if I go Control Alt or Control Command and M, just as we've done in the previous videos, you can change this Z offset. So I could make this 10 meters, and you'll see that they all move up to 10 meters. I'm going to undo that for now. Go back to plan view with 0 in the number pad. And then we're going to go turn on this survey import, and we'll see that 9400 is our first elevation. So we'll go Control Alt M, and we'll type in here 9400, enter. So now when we're in 3D, we can see that we've got ourselves to 9400 with these 3D polys right now. Each of these intervals is 200. So the way I do it when you have to do it with a PDF, sometimes you'll get a survey import and it's already 3D polylines, which life is so good then because it's already done, it's easy. If you have to draw it off a PDF, this is how I'll do it, where I'll have them all drawn in like this, all of them selected. I'll bring them up to the lowest point, which is 9400. I'll then deselect this, Control Alt and M again, and I know I need to bring all of these up 200 to get us to 9600. So I go 200, enter, deselect, Control Alt M, 200, enter, deselect, and just work through each of these as you go. It might seem pretty laborious, let's be honest, it is. A lot of the times now, surveyors will give you actual 3D survey data, which makes life a lot easier. But when you're starting out on PDFs and you're trying to figure out how to make basic site models, this is the way to do it. So you can see that these 3D polylines are there, and they've got this height to them. So they're lower at the front, taller at the back, and that will become our site model. So what we're going to do now is go Control A, and that'll select all of our 3D polygons. We then go landmark and create, where are we here? Create site model from source data. This is how we'll do it. There's a few other options here, but we'll just go site model from source data for this one. That will bring up this window. So first up, you want to name your site model. I normally just call it site model. There's normally only one, so It's pretty easy. You can keep the source data, which is keeping the lines if you'd like. Sometimes it's good to keep these, honestly, not a bad idea, but I'm not going to bother. Maximum elevation. So this is our highest point, which was the 11 meters. Minimum elevation is our lowest point, which is the 9,400. Make sure you have extend, max, and min values when needed, because if you were to have a pool, say, dug into the 9,400 elevation, that would make it quite lower than the site model is able to. So you want it to be able to extend lower if it needs to. For the minor interval contours, we'll go 200 like the survey had. Major multiply was every fifth one, every meter. So that's fine. With this, use site modifiers on. Just keep it as same layer as site model for now. 2D, I normally only show the existing in 2D. Style 2D contours is fine. Draw a site border. Doesn't hurt to have that. It's a good idea. Show contour labels. I normally only show the major. I don't show the major and minor. You can see here an example of what it would look like. Leave this stuff all the same. That stuff's all fine. You don't need to show flow arrows and things like that for 3D view. It's fine. Sorry, for 2D view or for 3D view. With the 3D, that's where I show the proposed. So that's where our site modifiers will make changes to the 3D. Style 3D mesh. There's all sorts of different things that you can have it set as. I just think 3D mesh looks fine. You can show the 3D contours. I won't. You can show the skirt. I will. This is where you've got this little overhang here. It's good to have that. Also, if you turn off mesh smoothing, you'll see it's a lot more geometric. I enjoy mesh smoothing. I think it looks a bit better when it comes to the actual 3D model and landscape areas and things like that down the track. Make sure that this crease angle is set to the correct amount at 60, because if it's too low, it can cause issues. So just keep that at 60 and you should be sweet. For components, don't tick this. Just leave this as it is for now. And that's essentially everything that we need. So should from there be able to go and finish it off. Done, stuffed up. I'll start, Control A, landmark, create site model from source data. For some reason, my OK had disappeared from down there. Very weird issue. This minimum elevation, 9,400, we will touch on this actually later as well. I'm going to have to change all this stuff back, so just bear with me. All right, so here's our site model. So you can see it gets very skinny here. Very, very skinny, not good. So to save it from being really skinny like that, site model settings, 3D display, general, minimum elevation. Here is where we want to change it to 8,400 and click enter. So now we've got this skirt here. So it actually looks like a bit more solid of a site model, which is what we need. So that's essentially our site model made. If you turn on our building roof and existing residence, you can actually see how it fits onto the site at this point and where it needs to be cut into the site. But we'll do that modification later. As long as we've got the site model made at this point, then we should be sweet. You can go through and look as well. If you go site model settings, you can see there are graphic properties we can change. So this is for everything, you know, the existing 2D contour major, black, the proposed contour major, blue, like all of this stuff can be edited through the graphics properties if you'd like to. I'll just be leaving it as default. I normally do just leave it default because it's good enough, only on certain situations will you ever need to change it. So that is essentially our site model. You can see though that where it extends to is outside of our property boundary. A lot of the time I will crop this. So if we were to go to what is our concept plan layer? Here it is. This is our concept plan layer. I normally will just crop this to fit within this box of what we're actually designing and not sort of bleeding out into the surrounding site. If you've got a project where there's things happening with neighbors and you want the site model to go there, that's fine. But I will crop this. The way to do that, grab your rectangle tool, click up here, or if it's an odd shaped site, just draw around where you want the crop. So that shape right there is what I want the crop to be. Go click X, Control X. We're going to cut that shape out. We've got our site model. We're going to click on Edit Crop over here in the Object Info palette. Edit Crop. This is the current crop that we've got. We go Control Alt V or Control Command V to paste in place. This is what we want our new crop to be. This is our old crop, and we just hit delete. And then this new crop will be where the site model is cropped to. So you can see it's brought it in. And that just makes it so we've got a more constrained site model. We've got a bit of front context, but it only goes to the boundary of our property. And that's essentially the setup of the site model. Like, it is that easy. What we will do is turn off the concept plan, turn off all of these additional layers, even site boundary and survey import, and we'll look at the site model on its own. So we can see our major contour here. We can see our 200 contours. Everything looks fine. We don't need it to be any more detailed than that. One thing I will do though is select it and turn off solid fill. Just go none for fill so you can see through it. I just find that easier if you do have like import house plan that you want to look at, or survey import later on that you want to look at, and make sure that they line up. Having those on and having this with no fill is a lot better, especially once we start getting into doing concepts, sketches, and things like that, and other 3D modeling. So that is how easy it is to create the site model, create the site boundary that we've got on here as well. We've got our existing residence, and we've even got the building roof. So this here is usually a good enough starting spot to where you can actually get into doing the design itself. So we've got those things created. We've got this boundary done. Looking at it top down, we can actually see the site. And a lot of the time I'll actually just print this off, and this will become my base sketch plan. If it's a site that's got additional existing things like an existing tree, or if it's a completely sort of semi-finished existing house that has existing paths that you want to still use in the design, obviously you'd model all of that stuff up into either like an existing surrounding context layer, or an existing landscapes layer, or an existing project layer where you'd have things that were already there. But because this is a new build, we don't have to worry about that. This is our starting spot, and this is where we'll be moving on from here to go into the actual design phase. Next episode, we're going to be looking at our 2D concept plan in a bit more detail now that we've got all of our base plans set up. Now we're going to be looking at this 2D concept plan, understanding classes and what classes are, why they're important, as well as starting to understand a bit more about styles. So wall styles, hardscapes, landscape areas, just understanding basically what a style is and why it's important when managing changing designs in the future. So look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Feel free to join along there, and be sure to jump onto the Patreon if you haven't done so already, and download these checkpoint files so you can work along with me. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. All the best. Bye.